Welcome to the Grid League podcast, where we tell the stories of the players and teams in the Florida Grid League. Hey everybody, I am here today with Bryleigh Hansen and Sam Secord of the South Beach Palms. What's up, ladies? Thanks for joining.
Hello, thanks for having us.
So they are coming off of the first match in the Florida Grid League 2022 season. Bryleigh, tell me, how did that match go? How'd you guys do?
It was good, honestly. We had a couple last minute dropouts, so we did really freaking good with what we had to work with. We ended up dropping down to 5 guys, literally within the last 5 hours of the match. So playing with 5 guys, 6 girls, I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. What was the final score?
18-17 or 17-16 with 1 point. I think it was 18-17.
18-17.
And who did you guys play?
We played the Tampa Bay Brigade.
Tampa Bay Brigade. So what was that like, Bryleigh, playing against the Brigade?
That was this match was just as important to me as championships, obviously, because I was with them for the first 3 years. So this match was super important. But it was good. They had a very well-rounded team. They played a lot better than I thought they would, honestly. So it was good. It was fun.
Yeah. So for anyone listening who doesn't know any better, Bryleigh played for the Brigade for the first, 2 seasons of the league?
Yeah. Well, I was the first season, off the second season, played with them the third season.
Right. So you were in the Northern Conference and then you came down to the Southern Conference to start the South Beach Palms.
Right.
Now, Sam, you have a similar situation, right? You've been on multiple teams?
Yeah. This is my 3rd team now.
3rd team. There's only a couple players in the league who've done that so far. Tell me about your great experience.
Well, my very first season, COVID happened. So then there was the As One tournament. And that's when I was on the Sharks with you, which was great. But I live on the East Coast. So it was difficult for me to keep going back, especially for the matches were going to be 4 hours away in Tampa. And then the practices were 2 hours away. So it just didn't seem logical with my work schedule because I'm kind of all over the place. I'm a firefighter, I coach, and then I'm also on a private ambulance company. I'm just constantly all over the place. But then I was on the Freaks, and then the Freaks no longer exist. So then I'm on the Palms now.
That's cool. So what was your experience like, Sam? You played against the Palms. You were on the Freaks last year. You played against the Palms in the conference finals last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys won.
Yeah, we won. I remember the Palms being very upset. There was a lot of stuff going on that I never really get into any team drama. I just kind of keep my eye on what I need to do for my team. But I know there was some rivalry going on, and but now I practice with the Palms, and they all seem like super solid, genuine, focused people. So I don't think there will be any type of drama going forward. But it was definitely a tough match. That was a tough match.
Bryleigh, so is Sam the only player from the Freaks you guys picked up?
No, we also picked up Winter Rodriguez. She's going to the game, so she won't be here. Well, obviously she wasn't at the first match, and she won't be at this next match. So as soon as the games are over, we'll have her back for the doubleheader and when we win champs.
When? So as the leader of the team, Bryleigh, what's that like? Because you guys had a pretty intense rivalry with the Freaks last year, right? You had some very intense matches. What's it like picking up players from those teams?
Yeah, and it wasn't really. The rivalry was more so between a couple individual players themselves.
Mm.
It wasn't necessarily team against team because a lot of the players were actually really good friends and they're super close. Especially with Heather, one of my main utility players, being the manager of Freakin'. It wasn't really as much a rivalry between teams as it was between a couple of the individual players. So apart from that, there was no rivalry. I mean, obviously we always want to win, which we did. We did win our first match against them, just saying. But it's all good. It's all fun.
Yeah, I was talking to Josh Rundle on the Wild the other day about their match, right? And they played the Fort Lauderdale Lions. And the Lions are basically the Lions and the old Freaks.
Right.
Right. And the Wild played those two teams in the last two championships. So he was like, there was some special fire for their team playing them this last week. So what are some highlights? What are some things that stuck out? Because it was, a tight loss, right? Very, very close match. What are some highlights of the match to you guys?
Highlights were honestly the boys stepping up. Like, it was very last minute. We've always had a stacked girls side. We've never played with 7 girls. It's always been 6 players or 6 females. So that was totally fine. We weren't really worried about that. It was within the last, couple hours when we lost those 2 players that it's like, okay, the guys need to step up. And they all did. Playing with 5 guys is usually like pretty much an automatic loss. And it was back and forth that entire match. Them just coming down to like good communicating and like being right behind each other when someone needed help. They were right there and they knew exactly what they needed to do, and they got it done.
Yeah. And to provide context for anyone listening, right? Like generally there's room for 8 guys and 8 girls on the active roster every match. So you're playing with 5. That's a pretty significant drop down.
Right. So playing with 5, just having like a couple key guys having to step in where, one, it's like the mental thing, they already have their assignments. They know their assignments for 3 weeks in advance, exactly what they're going to do. And then 5 hours before the match happens, they have to have all this added work. So for them to like mentally be prepared to like step up and do that, they all crushed it. So I don't want to do it again, but they did good.
That's awesome.
I want to shout out Marcus, who is a rookie on our team. And he absolutely just sold his soul to the grid. Like, he went all out. He was in almost every race, I think. I think he was in every race. He even did a ringer, the sprint ringer. Like, he absolutely crushed it. And at the end, the sprint relay, he did the last set of thrusters unbroken, ran and tried to run back as fast as he could. We had nothing left. Like, it was, he did really good. So I want to give him a shout out. I think he might be rookie of the year. So definitely got to look out for him. But from the girls' side, again, I think we also did a great job communicating like telepathically. We literally like gave each other a look during triad, and it was just like, okay, you go, I go, whatever. We all like evolved super well. Just like by giving each other a glance. Like, it was really cool. So that was fun.
Let's talk about that triad, right? Because I feel like the triad, we've done that before. It's not the first time that race has been out, but I feel like that wrecked everybody. How did you guys do on that?
It did. So that was one we were like super confident, and we actually threw our flag on that one. Because we had a solid practice with that, and we had a solid game plan, and we actually followed through with pretty much the exact same game plan that we went in with. And just watching the other matches with how many teams didn't finish that triad, I was like, we've got this. Like, this is a no brainer. This is what we're throwing the flag on. Like, granted, we barely won. Like, I was not expecting the brigade to actually like keep up like that. We did exactly how we game planned it. And
I can speak to that demolishing us. Those kettlebell front squats hurt us a whole bunch. I know that I came down, I did muscle ups. I got butterfly muscle ups for the first time in a match, and I was pretty hyped. And I went to go run back, and I realized nobody else was on the floor. I was like, I guess I'm doing deadlifts.
Oh my God. Yeah, that race for us was super cool because so we kind of divided up each movement based on like who was doing the next movement so that they could finish whatever it was. Like, Heather came off the handstand push-ups, did a few kettlebell squats, front squats, and then I came in and finished hers. And it was kind of like we just tagged each other midway through a movement, which was really cool. I was supposed to do the 4 ring muscle ups, but I had done extra unplanned kettlebell front squats, right? So I fell through the rings, and then Bryleigh picked it up for me, and she did 8. So she did 4 and then moved up and did 4. And I was ready. I was at the bar, the deadlift bar. The second she was done, I just started going. So it was really cool how like we just transitioned, like adapted super quick. Sorry, I didn't throw you up on the rings, Bryleigh. I just left you. I was like, you got it.
I'm like
Sorry.
flowing around. One ring's like wrapped around. I'm like, oh Lord.
Sorry about that.
I love triad for that reason you're just talking about, right? Like that personally, I hate doing that race because I'm not that good of an athlete, but like the idea of triad, having the 3 iterations of every movement as you move down and being able to strategize like that, that's so anti like other fitness sports, what you just explained,
Right.
like starting the squats, stopping them, letting somebody else finish them up. Like you would never do that somewhere else. And you're super, super beneficially doing that inside of these races, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite races. I don't know if it's just because we have like a solid core group of girls that can kind of do a little bit of everything, but that race seems to always go really well for us.
Yeah, I remember way many years ago, Bryleigh, playing against you guys when you were on the brigade, playing in triad. And the Sharks, we didn't have a really good team. We had a lot of really good people, but not a really high athletic team. And I remember we get the triad and I'd just be like, fuck.
Well, what's so funny about that specific triad was when I was on the brigade, Chris assigned me those front squats. And I'm like, I can't do them. Like, I should not be doing these. And so whatever, Chris tells me I'm doing them. So I'm just going to give it my all. So I think I get like 2 maybe. And I like set the kettlebells down. I'm like, someone's got to come finish these for me. And I look back, nobody else is on the grid with me. Like they're already failing too. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But what's funny is ever since that triad, now that I'm coach, I don't ever do them. I'm like, I'm not doing those. These are all you guys.
That's fantastic. I have such a strong memory of Serena Clark, who's on our team. The first year we did them, she did like 10. She puts them down. She looks at me and she's like, help. I'm like, there's nobody. Pick them back up. I don't.
Literally, I'm like looking at Chris. I'm looking at the crowd. I'm like, all right, we're just going to laugh this one off because rough.
This episode is brought to you by Punch Gunk. Punch Gunk is a pain relief and anti-inflammatory rub. You put it on your muscles, your joints. You're going to feel a whole lot better if you use it. I know that a couple weeks ago, my back was killing me from a deadlift workout. Couldn't bend over without strong discomfort. One of the players convinced me to use some, rubbed it on my back. About 15 minutes later, I was doing muscle ups and snatches with no pain at all. I absolutely could not believe it, but it's true. They're a supporter of the podcast now. If you want to try it out, go to punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10. You'll get a discount. This stuff is amazing. It's all over my gym now. The Southwest Florida Sharks and the Florida Grid League use it. Big supporter of it now. Check it out at punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10 for a discount. So, Bryleigh, you had a really big moment. I know you had a really big moment in this match. What was it?
I cleared the snatch ladder.
Tell me why that was such a big deal for you.
Really? So and this was so funny, after the match, Chris was like, why didn't you ever do that for me? It's crazy because I hurt my wrist really bad at Wodapalooza this year. So I've snatched once since Wodapalooza, like heavy. I built up to like 160 was all. So for me I hit 165 in the warm-up area, and I was like, holy shit, maybe I got this. But it also helped because Blake and Nick from the Wild were standing right there. And they're like, you got to clear. I was like, I've never cleared this today. Like, today's the day. And they're like, we're manifesting for you. Like, you got this. So they were like right on the side. So like that helped too. But for whatever reason, I kind of saw Heather miss it too. Like Heather missed the 3rd and 4th bar, which was not great. So like that gave me a little extra, like, holy shit, we need to hit this. So like, as I was walking down the grid, Coach Cody was like, we need this, like, we need this bad. And then I heard Blake and Nick, like, you need this. In my head, I was like freaking out because I haven't snatched this heavy since January. But I was like, I have to hit this. Like, we cannot lose this. And got it. We lost it, but I got it. So I didn't even care.
Yeah, that's cool. That's nice because like we've done this for so many years now, right? Like you have a very measurable, a very easily measurable measure of like, did I do better or am I doing worse? Right.
Right. And just being able to like, I can usually like back when I was on the brigade, I was like doing 155 for reps. Like it was never an issue, but for whatever reason, I never cleared that 165. Like I could never clear it, even though I was snatching consistently and like my numbers were way higher. Whatever it was, just the energy and the people around, I think, helped me out.
Sam, have you cleared that ladder yet? Have you cleared the snatch ladder?
No. So last year, I think I missed the 3rd and 4th bar on the freaks, but I was first originally signed as a strength specialist. So kind of crazy, right? But this year I missed the fourth bar, 165. I got 150 though. And the thing is, like, I snatch 165 like pretty regularly. I snatch 175 regularly, but it's the combination of everything you do before that just absolutely obliterates me. Like, even I did the third and fourth quadrant in partner forward, right? It's 4 reps and 2 reps of overhead squats. Like, come on, you should still be able to snatch 165, but at that point, I'm just totally fried. You kind of just pull and pray at that point, and I didn't pray hard enough.
Yeah, the people don't generally understand, like, whatever your 1 rep max is or whatever, even if it's not your 1 rep max, ladder is a whole different scenario, right? Because you're hitting 4 heavy lifts in 25, 30 seconds.
Right.
Like, yeah. When does someone ever try that? I know that I remember we had some people at my gym who were convinced that one of the ladders wasn't that hard. So we set it up for them. And I was like, take as long as you want to warm up. Like, whenever you're ready, you start this, and not one of them could clear it. I was like, yeah, it's a different game plan, bro.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what your 1 rep max is. It's a totally different beast.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the thing though, is like the snatch is super technical. The deadlift clean ladder, or the regular clean and jerk ladder, or thruster ladder, like those I'm super confident in clearing, because even if I'm off by, a millisecond, I know I could still get it. Where the snatch is like, if you're off, that's over. There's no coming back from it. So
yeah, I understand that. Like, for our team this year for the mirror, for ladder, like Bryleigh, this. The Sharks are not a great ladder team. That's been a known thing for many years. Somebody told me to throw the bonus flag, and I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. No way. Then we had, I think, 7 or 8 people clear it. And I was like, okay, things are different now.
next time.
I was like, if they're clearing the snatch ladder, the clean stuff's gonna be easy. So
right. Set.
So who do you guys play next in your next match?
The Lions.
Play the Lions. Okay, so they're currently 1-0, but they were in gridlock last match, right? You guys are 0-1, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a good opportunity to tie up the standings here.
Yep.
What are your guys' thoughts going into that next match? How do you stack up well against them? How do they stack up well against you?
Honestly, this is a good match format for both of us. Jamie, they will be losing 2 girls, which is unfortunate. But it is doable. I just played with 5 guys, so I'm not counting anything out. I'm not going to say it's going to be a breeze by any means. But it's a good match format for both of us, especially with like how they have Paula, like just the muscle ups and the handstand push-ups. Paula's pretty good at. So between Cardona and Paula, it's going to be tough, just because we don't have quite this gymnastics background as they have. We actually don't have any just female bodyweight specialists at all. Me and Heather are kind of it, and we lift every bar as well. So it ends up taking a toll on us. But it's going to be close, because the bodyweight stuff, I think they're going to have us in, but the strength stuff, we should by far get them in. So it's going to be close. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, Sam, you've played against the Lions a couple times now, right?
Yeah, I've played against them, and I have a ton of friends on the Lions. So, it's always fun going against them. But Pau and Cardona together, it's going to be tough, because I was on Pau's team, obviously last year when I was with the Freaks, and I know what she's capable of, and her with Eric is going to be super tough, not just in Jack and Jill, but in other races that have, even a piece of gymnastics in it. But we can definitely make up for it on any of the other movements, if needed, but, it'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure. And I love Jamie also. I get work done by her at the box stock. So it's always fun, competing against a friendly face.
Bryleigh, having players that were on teams with other players before, right? Does that provide you any insight? Because we don't have that. That's never a situation I've been in. Like, Sam is like, yeah, I know how Bella does to her muscle ups. I know what kind of stuff she wants to do and doesn't want to do. Is that beneficial to you as like the team leader?
I've never gotten any insight, actually. Sam's the only one that we've pulled. I mean, Winter's MIA until after the games. So I just know how Paula is. I mean, just looking back on past seasons, I mean, everyone knows who most of the players are at this point. So it's not really any insight at all. It's just basing it on what I see, what they post, you know. It's kind of all we can go off of. Unless Sam has something she wants to tell me.
No, that's a really good point because, you know, I've been on 3 different teams, but any team that I've been on, we've never really discussed anything from like other teams. We definitely focus more on like what we set out to do, what our assignments are, and what our end goal is. We don't necessarily focus on the other team at all, which is kind of interesting that you bring up because I've never talked about any other team that I've been on. So it's kind of interesting, you know, that doesn't even come into play.
And that might just be from the player standpoint. Cause I mean, Nick, as you know, like as a coach, when you're sending out assignments and stuff, you're basing it off who you think is going to be on the other side of the grid. Right. So that's probably more of like a coach stand than a player stand, because we try to leave the players out of anything that the other players are doing, you know, to kind of put who we think is going to be the best on the grid against who we think is going to be on the other side.
Yeah. And like one of the things about grid, right, is generally the other team's performance doesn't matter all that much. Like your performance is what matters. Right.
Right.
I think the one thing that's changed that up a little bit though, has been the introduction of the ringer points.
Right.
You know, it does matter for sure, knowing like, do they have somebody who can do the farmer carry? Or do they not, you know, or is that a guaranteed win for us, or is it risky to do that or something, you know?
Right.
Do you guys want to say what you're doing for the ringers yet?
We don't know. We have no idea.
Okay.
And with Jamie going down to 5 girls too, it's like, we don't really know. I mean, she gets that one extra signing, you know what I mean? So it's like, we don't really know how to play against that. So we kind of have like an idea. And we know they don't have Eric anymore because they just use Eric for the handstand walk, right? So it's like, okay, do we do a gymnastics one? But then they have Paula. So it's like, no one's, depending on what it is, like we might have a chance on a couple things against Paula, depending on who we use. But we're kind of leaving them because we kind of think they're going to use gymnastics and we'll use a strength since they're kind of missing the strength players right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? The ringers add such a level of complexity and difficulty, right? Because not only do you have to pick the thing you think is best, you got to think, who do you have available still? Because if you've used somebody for a ringer, they're done for the season. And who does the other team have available still?
Right. Keeping track of the other team's players who is gone is huge.
Yeah, that's super challenging. Sam, are you gonna pick up your ringer point situation from last year?
I knew you were gonna go there.
It's in the talks, Sam. It's in the talks. Be ready.
The second you said farmer's carry, I was like, So I was selected for the ringer point farmer's carry last year on the Freaks against Marcos, I want to say. Yes, it was him. So he had to carry what is it, 200 something pounds each hand, and I had to carry like 140 each hand, I believe it is. So I start off and I'm like sprinting, like I'm already in the 3rd quadrant and he's back like at the beginning of the 2nd quadrant. Like I'm literally sprinting so fast that the weight is now in front of me and I couldn't hold it anymore. I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden I was down on the ground. Like it's funny because I go back and I watch the video. The weight didn't hit the floor. Like literally, I don't know what happened. It like nothing, I didn't trip. I just was down. Like, I don't know. But I am super proud of myself. I got back up and I finished, but I was ahead and I lost the ringer, but I was winning. So that kind of sucks. But you know,
those farmer carries will get you. That happened with the dude on the brigade when we played against him for the sprint relay. You get your little feet going too fast, like they're gonna take you out.
I was sprinting, and that's the thing. So you have things in your hand, right? So when you fall, you typically brace yourself and catch yourself. No, I just had to like just face plant, right? Nick's laughing. When I fell, my like sternum actually hit the plates, the weight super hard. I was like winded. I couldn't breathe. I was like, okay, just go. I got the weights and I finished, but I like knocked the air out of myself. Couldn't breathe. I was like, I'm fine. It's okay.
It was straight up belly flop. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'm down for a rematch if you want to do that, Bryleigh, but
I'm just bringing it up.
To you.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up because they're in this match again. So
right.
Yeah.
Mentally prepare, Sam. Mentally prepare.
I'm down for a rematch.
All right, ladies. So we are at one of 4 matches done, right? We got your match against the Lions, right? And then I'm thinking you play the Breakers and the Venom in the doubleheader.
Yep.
Okay. You guys have not started like as a team. The Bombs have never been with a losing record, right?
It depends on if you want to count the as one. Oh wait, no. We did. We actually did win our first match against the as one, and then we lost the next 2. Yeah, we've never lost our first match ever.
All right. So this is a different scenario, right? How are you guys going to crawl out of this hole?
Scenario. Well, hopefully not lose players right at the last minute. That will help. That will definitely help. No, but our team, like as far as like crawling out of a hole, we don't really have a hole to crawl out of. None of the players were like super upset or mad about it. Like that's what's cool about, like, I've had all of the coaches come up, like, how is your team so cohesive? Like, how do you guys get along? A lot of teams, when they lose like that, especially when it's like in a not great scenario, like, we lost, like our player did the same thing the other player did from that match. And it's like most teams would have been like freaking out on the other side of the grid. I was freaking out, I'm not gonna lie, but my players, I'm like, why aren't you guys mad right now? No, but they were all fine. So there's no hole to crawl out of. Just stay on top, stay good at communicating, stay positive towards each player. If they need help, make sure to pick them up. Don't get mad at them. Don't point fingers. Don't do any of that. And I think we'll crush it like we always have.
Cool. Give me a prediction for the match against the Lions.
Score? What are we predicting? I mean, we already know we're going to win. If you want a prediction for score, 17-12.
17-12. Okay. All right. Sam, you got a prediction, or are you gonna roll with that?
There's a few bets on the table. We like to have a prize pot.
Yeah, we did start that this year. We have a whole prize pot that everyone's throwing random stuff in.
We're placing bets.
Yeah, we are.
But you know what? I'm gonna agree with Bryleigh. I think 17-12. This is a solid score. I think we got them at least on, more than half the races. And if we choose our ringers wisely, then I think we got it for sure.
Okay. Well, so anyone listening at home who doesn't really understand, 17-12 is an ass kicking. So they're predicting a stomping of the Lions. So
sorry, Jamie. Sorry.
yeah. No bad blood, but we are bringing the heat for sure. So
cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Grid League podcast. I think we're all done here. What I'll do is I'll throw your social media handles in the show notes. Anybody who wants to reach out to you can do that. Thank you so much for your time. We're out of here.
See you in the championships, Nick.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you want to find out more about the Grid League, you can find us on social media at FL Grid League, or on the internet at www.thefgl.com. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at Nick Havish. See you soon.